for the invitation. So my name is Diana Cheng, and I work at Vodafone R&D based in Düsseldorf. And I'm going to present OneSocialWeb, which was a project that a couple of colleagues of mine, Laurent Teschenauer and Alar Weiss, started a while ago. Unfortunately, they are not in the project anymore, but we continue with their initiative, and wouldn't have been possible without their vision and their hard work. So these are my contact details for those who are interested, my Twitter account, my GID, my JIT, which is also my OneSocialWeb account, and my work email address. So what the problem that OneSocialWeb is trying to solve is the one where we are nowadays merging silos of social networking providers. So you have a social networking provider, and you're not able to interact with anyone else which is not in the same community. So in that community, you're able to, you have your social graph, and you're able to share with all the people that you're connected with a lot of social media pictures, status updates, and so on. But as long as you meet someone else, or you want to connect with someone that is not on the same social network then, or with the same social provider, then you have the problem that you either need to join his provider and start creating accounts here and there, or you are forced to leave yours, and that's far from ideal. So we thought, why can't we connect just to everybody in the same way that we connect by email, or nowadays we have standards for communications. I'm working in the telecommunication industry, and I am with the Vodafone provider, and someone else with a T-Mobile provider. I mean, it doesn't matter which provider we are, we can still talk to each other. We have different phones as well, but it doesn't matter, we are able to connect. So this is what we're trying to achieve with this project, to create a free and open and decentralized social networking platform. So this is what I'm going to tell you today. We're going to have an overview of the protocol, of the application, a small demo with the help of Mikael. We're going to go over the protocol, the data models. I'm going to show you the applications, especially the mobile application, a bit of the API, and I'm going to talk about the federated social web, which is a new initiative that we are participating in. So the idea is to make social communication as easy and as simple and universal as email. So be able to friend and follow people on different networks, to have one identity and still be able to interact with people in multiple communities, and to be able to port your data, because you should be able to decide who's your provider, and one day if you decide that this provider doesn't suit you anymore, you get pissed at your provider, you could take your data and go somewhere else. And this is what we're trying to enable here. And there are a lot of activities in this field, so we are by far not the only initiative that is working on this. I'm sure you're familiar with several of this projects. So OStatus is one of the most advanced ones, which is a collection of protocols, PubSub, WebFinger, activity streams, and portable contacts. And I encourage you to check them out as well. And Diaspora, I'm sure you also are aware of. Our approach is to create not only a protocol, it's a platform and that we want to use to enable several user experiences. So we've implemented some clients to show the kind of user experiences that can be implemented with OneSocialWeb. So it's a protocol based on XMPP, so this is what we're using for all the communication, the federation, and identity. And activity streams is the data model that we're using for the social objects that we're sharing. It's our data model. Our data model for profiles is vCard, so we're not using portable contacts. We are using the XML specification of vCard, because we wanted to extend. We want to make it extensible with privacy, per item privacy. So to be able to say per item who is going to be able to see this field of my profile. And we have a data model for relationship, which is not a feature that is implemented fully yet, but it's roughly based or inspired in the XFN work. So as we know, XMPP provides a federated client-to-server architecture. So servers federate with each other, and you connect with your home server. And we have a very similar approach to what was presented this morning. So we have when you post an activity, this is pushed in a similar and a sort of pops up to a JIT way. So by your server to everybody that is following you, and because XMPP is an event-based messaging system, the clients receive this in real time. And again, we have a similar approach. So we're managing a node for the inbox as well, and we have sort of replies node. So every time that you have an activity and this activity receives comments, this creates a node, and all the replies are aggregated there. And in the same way, the clients can request profiles that are hosted on a different server, and the server that hosts that profile will reply to it with everything that you're allowed to see. So every single field that you're allowed to see will be retrieved, and nothing else beyond that. And we are open source, so this is out there. The code is on GitHub, and we're providing an end-to-end platform. So we've created a backend server. So we're using OpenFire as our XMPP server, not Hyper-V, but we have also created some client libraries that you can. There's quite a lot of reusability of code in the current implementation, that you can use them for mobile or for desktop applications, and the data model, which can be used across also all the kind of applications, including web. We have a web client that's written on using Google Web Toolkit, so just in Java, compiling to JavaScript, and that will take care of all the cross-browser problems that you might encounter. So yeah, you can join the community and get involved in the mailing list if you wish. And we've also tried to create a couple of user experiences just to show basically what can be implemented using the protocol. And we have the web client, as I mentioned, and an Android client that Mikael has it running, and some of the guys here as well, and you can download it from the Android market. But actually, since we're an open source community, we have received some contributions from the guys in the community, and there's been an iPhone client implemented and an HTML client as well, and there are others in process as well. One colleague of ours as well in Vodafone, he took a look at the specs and just implemented one JS trophy. So it's pretty cool that people can just take the specs and go for it. So we can do a little demo. So this is how the web application looks. I'm logged in here in the server, in one of the servers that we host at Vodafone, the VodafoneRD.com domain, and I've befriended, or I started following Mikael, who has registered an account on another server that we host, which is bitavine.net. But the interesting thing is that actually I'm following a lot of people that have hosted their own server. So he's actually on an social.openliving.com domain, and so he has his server in the cloud. Some other people have a server in their basement, and the federation is alive. We have quite some people in the community, and another user in the same server. And yeah, so when you're ready, you can send me a message, and should actually be able to receive this in real time, both in the web application and on my phone. Yeah, I don't have connection on the moment. Okay. Actually, try posting something here, but the 3G network is not really working. So, oh, but there it is. So. And there is another activity in real time. That's okay. So yeah, you can see that the activities start popping in real time. We are using Bosch in the web client. So yeah, it's this is the way it works. So yeah, it's a federated social network based on XMPP, and why XMPP? Besides the fact that it's great, it's because of it's an asynchronous protocol with long-lived connections. It's event-based, so you don't need to do any long polling as it used to happen before. And because it's one technology that already provides us with a lot of things which are needed in social networking, like identity. We use the Java ID as identifiers. There is already security implemented in the protocol, so server-to-server dialback for domain and TLS for client-to-server. There are many extensions, like so XMPP is a small protocol, but with many extensions, like PubSub and the roster, and this is something that we're using at the moment. Rosters is part of the features that we provide, and doing this without XMPP requires you to use to put together many different protocols. So this is what our initiatives are doing, but putting together PubSub Hub for push of notifications, Salmon for messaging, and WebFinger. But I think one of the things that they are not addressing yet is privacy. So everything is working at the moment in a Twitter-like public style, and we are providing privacy and access control in everything that you share. So it's one of the things, because XML is XMPP is an extensible, XML which is extensible, is one of the things that we're allowed to do here. So we're using activity streams as the data model for social activity. These are a couple of references that you might find very useful. And so at the beginning we had the RSS feeds, which provide us with very little information, such as only a title and link and a description of an item. And that is indeed very little. And then Atom came around and provided us with a few more things, like the author and the ID and the updated, so that you can actually get an idea of what version of the item you're dealing with. But it was still not really enough to describe the kind of rich and social sharing that people are doing nowadays. So how would you go about to say that you've posted a status or that you've liked something? This is something that Atom was not really providing. So Activity Stream builds on top of Atom and creates some or adds some more data to it, such as actor, verb, and target, so that you are actually able to describe such rich interactions as the fact that you posted a note, or that you posted a picture to an album being the target, or that you like a video or a photo. And it builds on the existing elements and provides us with a lot more information. And it looks, if you build on top of Atom, it looks more or less like this. And what we're doing in OneSocialWeb is to add some more on top of activity streams. We're providing also access control and some context information, such as location and other types in the future. So you can say that you took a picture in Barcelona and it's visible only by friends. And if you want to put everything together and say that Julie is updating her status with a message like this, then you end up having, it's a lot of XML, but it looks more or less like this. So you have the XMPP bit, and the activity streams bit is an entry, and this is what we are adding on top, which is the access control rules. And here you're saying that you're granting viewing permissions to everyone. So it's an evolving spec. So what I was discussing with the guys today is that it's changing, and we might need to adapt to the changes. But it's actually been widely adopted already. So a lot of people are supporting it in industry. So. As I said, we're providing fine-grained access control. So we want to enable both types of experiences, the public Twitter-like sort of applications, and also the more Facebook-like private experience. So as I said, we're providing access control on a per activity basis. So you decide per activity who's able to see, and that is based on roster groups. For profiles, the same. We are providing on a per field basis the access control, and also for relations. So if you, which is still not implemented, but if you decide to say that you're a friend with someone and someone confirms that relationship, you can also say that this can only be seen by a certain group of people, or by only one person, or be completely private. So you have viewing actions that you can grant to certain groups, to everyone, so it's the public one, and also on rosters groups, so you specify the group and you say this is only visible to your family. And we've implemented an Android client, as I said, and we mainly wanted just to have a reference implementation to see what kind of experiences we can have in the mobile, and we chose Android because it provides you with background threads natively. So this is something which is necessary for real-time notifications. Otherwise, you need the application to be running in the foreground. And we wanted to understand what kind of issues you could have, for these real-time communications when you are switching between different types of networks. So we found it works very well on 3G, but on different types of networks, we have some problems we have to improve. We wanted to see what's the impact on the battery life of having, background threads running and listening for incoming notifications, and what's the traffic implications. So we're using some really good open source libraries, the SMAC library, which is the OpenFire client implementation, and the iSMAC, which is a customization for Android, and JZlib for enabling a bit of compression. And this is a little bit the way it looks. And the API actually allows you to, or the way we've implemented the library actually allows you to decouple the data model from the rest of the protocol. So if you want to create other types of social experiences, not necessarily sharing activities or liking things or commenting on things, you could actually have, for example, a shopping list application and start interacting and collaborating on the items and receive real-time notifications on them. So for having this kind of experience, you not only need a mobile application, you actually need a lot of on the back end. You need to be able to register users. You need a social graph to manage a social graph. You need to be able to store all whatever your data model is, in our case, activities, and doing this requires also a solution for push notifications. So there are many solutions for it, but XMPP is already providing this. And with OneSocialWeb, you can, as I said, you can embed your own data model if you like. If you don't think this is suitable for your business, if you can create, for example, a shopping list, and you can connect to the service and post that item. And the libraries, the client libraries that we're implementing already handle incoming events for the inbox node, for example, or for the activity nodes, so for incoming replies and things like that. And this is the power of having a common data model. So if, in the case of social activities, if you have the same data model like activity streams in a federated world, then you are able to share in real time pictures across different providers, across different networks without, having the problem of the silos that we have nowadays. And now I wanted to talk to you about an initiative that we are engaged in with Vodafone, which is the Federated Social Web. It's a community that has been built around the creating federated social networks, and which actually met in Portland last June, and was sponsored by StatusNet back then, and this year it will take place in Berlin. And what came out from this event, which was very interesting, was the social web acid tests, which are interoperability tests across social networks. And SWAT Zero use case came out, and it looks more or less like this. So the fact that you you have 3 different people in 3 different networking services, and one of them decides to take a photo and tag it. So Dave takes a photo of Tantek and tags it, says that Tantek is tagged in the photo. And because Tantek was tagged in the photo, he receives a notification that he's been tagged. Evan, who is subscribed to Dave, or anyone that's subscribed to Dave, will see the photo on a 3rd service. And if he decides to comment on the photo, then both David, which was the creator of the activity, and Tantek, who was tagged, will actually be able to receive that comment. And obviously this sounds very trivial for a Facebook-like use case, but on a federated world this is not so easy. And some of the assumptions for this interoperability test is the fact that the 3 different people are on different services, so they're running on different social networks, and that these social networks have at least 2 different code bases. So we have one implementation in the project, the OpenFire one, and now that we're working with Process One, it will be really cool to test interoperability and to be able to work on this kind of challenges for the federated social web. There is a W3C working group, incubator group, which is going to be working on this, on creating more SWAT-like interoperability tests to create community-driven specifications. So to come up with a standard for this, and one of the standards that will be fairly worked on is OS status with and all the related protocols, but there are other architectures that are going to be worked on, so XMPP-based architecture, semantic microblogging as well, and the issue of privacy and security for the federated social web will be tackled there. So if other protocols besides from OneSocialWeb will come up for privacy, that will be discussed there, and the mailing list is public, so you can join and follow this, or ask to be to join as an expert invitee. So. And that will be all, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Hello, I just wonder why you don't use the PubSub access model and affiliation.
Can you tell me how what it is about and how we could use it? The model that we've used is actually, I think, is actually very flexible, because it provides public visibility and also uses the roster groups to create groups to enable that visibility.
That's something you can do with PubSub access model. So maybe there is a special reason, I don't know.
I will take a look at the PubSub access model, so it's a good advice.
So I see you have. I looked a bit at your XEP, and you have extensions for doing ACL, seeing who is controlling whether a message will be transmitted on. I mean, a rogue federated server.
Your home server will. So in your client, you will specify the kind of access control, so who is going to be able to see this activity that you're sharing, and your home server will receive this payload and will act on the access control rules that you have specified, and will send notifications only to the people that you're allowing to this activity to see.
Okay. So it needs to be able to route to every single. My home server needs to know how to route to the inboxes or to the users that are on different servers.
So the way PubSub works is that it will send PubSub event messages with the items that you've posted, and we are using this access control semantics to actually verify to which servers we will send this event, to these PubSub event messages. So before we send them, we check them and we notify it according to them.
Question?
I don't have a question, but I want to make a comment because what's your approach, and I wanted to emphasize what I like about the approach is that you mentioned several other distributed social network initiatives, and most of them, actually the one that make the most buzz last year, which was the diaspora. It's disappointing to see that they had focused on not API but on user interface and designing something which looks pretty but is not focusing on what is important. And as you mentioned, it's privacy, it's API, access model, and all these things. So I think what is really nice with this initiative is that it's really focusing on making a strong foundation. And yes, there is also nice-looking client, but this is not what is important. What is important is the underlying protocol, and that we can put together the brick and the foundation for building something. Yes, really nice.
By the way, if anyone is looking for kind of a big list of resources on the thing, you have my trial leavediaspora.com, okay. And I've listed basically all of the resources, all of the protocols, so it's a good entry point. It's just links, no content there.
Okay, that's cool. And what we were discussing today is that there is no single document online that describes the protocol that Diaspora is using. Whereas if you go to our homepage, you will see all the extensions and all the specifications of everything that we're using.
Sometimes they say that they are or will be using OStatus, or that it is an OStatus implementation. Depends on, but yeah.
Okay.
I've been for 3 or 4 weeks on the mailing list, and then I left. So
maybe we can talk about the Diaspora X or X2 initiative.
The Diaspora X is it's a branch of Diaspora that can be powered with an XMPP backend, and yes, we actually want to try to work with that, and that I think could provide them a much stronger foundation, a protocol actually, which is something they don't have right now. But yeah, I need more hands to work on the project, so we will get there.
I think also the initiative you mentioned, they are not. They are complementary. Actually, they can work together. We can imagine a world where we can publish using OStatus. We are connected with XMPP on our server, and we federate with OStatus, which is Identica or StatusNet as well. So it's yes, you can do that. You can plug a backend.
We shouldn't limit OStatus to being Identica, because it's the same guy. It doesn't.
Yes. No.
We didn't build OStatus just to be the protocol specification of Identica. It's larger.
Yes, I agree, but you can have OneSocialWeb protocol can be compliant with all statutes.
And basically, I mean, you've chosen vCard. Mm-hmm. The WebID guys chose FOF. I'm using portable contacts. Most of the semantics are totally the same. Probably we can assure interoperability easily enough, and then just like, you have web services today, and at the end you ask for either JSON or XML. Mm-hmm. So we'll ask for FOF, or we'll ask for. We need to ensure the semantic interoperability, so nobody is putting a must on the protocol when there isn't a must that must be there.
Yeah, actually, that's the whole reason behind the federated social web group in W3C. So, as Mikael said, we would like to interact with OStatus, and this is going to be worked on the federated social web group. So, if you are also interested in pushing or making your views known about a certain protocol and what their advantages are, please join, and and we will be working in this kind of interoperability in other standards to choose the best standard for profiles. So either POCO or vCard, whatever it is, we will discuss
None
it
of
there.
the only one that is probable really is FOF because it is really extensible. But then again, we'll have to do RDF, so nobody really wants to go there, right? So again, these are going to be serializations. The semantics are not different. You have stupid stuff in POCO because POCO is just open social. So they just took the JSON structure of. So it's the first protocol I know that started with the JSON serialization. And because of that, you have stupid stuff like you have religion. And you have all of the stupid stuff Google put into OpenSocial in POCO. So, but again, it's but you have URL with type.
Any other question? Okay.
Well, some years ago, there was a lot of noise about something called the semantic web. I mean, the web was going to be sort of intelligent because there would be sort of knowledge of the meaning in words and so on. And then it sort of died out. It must have been a fad. But here, when you're talking about shopping lists and so on, I mean, perhaps this semantic web might come back. Words used might not just be collection of characters, but they actually mean something.
There is a semantic microblogging initiative, so you might want to check that out. But I don't really know about any other initiatives for social federated social networking.
In your working group, you have Harry Halperin, that is one of the biggest proponents of the semantic social web, whatever. This is why they're running with WebID, which is FOF over SSL, or FOF plus SSL, because FOF permits them to be in the semantic web thingy.
Okay.
So there are still people totally, and there is Henry Story, I don't know if you've met that, he's also, that was in the exploratory group, and anyway, there are people working on the semantic front on this thing.
Great.